Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, An Angel in a Cowboy Hat. Today we're going to talk about the hardships of 2020 and how to push past them. We're all looking back right now at 2020 thinking to ourselves, what was that? Dave Ramsey and many others have referred to it as the year of the giant dumpster fire. Not only has the pandemic been bad, but more worse than the virus has been the fact that the whole country's just been shut down. Many of you have lost your jobs, lost your loved ones, your faith. You may have given up on your dreams. And many people are starting to say, oh, 2021 isn't looking any better. Well, the terrible year of 2020 is behind us, but let's not fall into the rut right now of thinking this year is going to be terrible too, or maybe even worse. Instead, this year is going to be what we make of it. Instead of saying life is cruel or life is unfair, we need to say life is what we make of it. We need not crumble when things get hard, but instead let's grow stronger. So let's talk about the biggest problems you may face or have faced. First one, of course, just being simple loss of a loved one. While the death toll of the virus has been considered pretty low for the amount of people that are here in the country, that doesn't mean that lives are not lost. As I record this, someone very close to me has lost their grandfather due to the COVID-19 complications. I also have a very close friend who is in the hospital right now with it, and I'm praying for his recovery. It's mysterious how some will get minimum symptoms and some will just flat out lose their life over this. So if you're somebody who's lost a loved one, a parent, a lover, a child, or anyone to this disease, I want you to know I'm so sorry. Losing a loved one is one of the most life-altering things that can happen to anyone. And I hope that you're able to find the strength to continue on. You may find it hard to eat, sleep, or just get on with your life. You may feel grief like there's something that you could have done. Understand that their passing wasn't your fault. It's caused by an invisible enemy that no one can see or control. You're going to have hard times for a while. You will cry, be angry, you'll wonder why, and you will dwell on the loss. Here are some steps you can take to deal with the emotions. If you feel grief, write a letter to the person that you lost. Write all of your feelings down and just read it aloud as if you were reading it to them while they were there. This is a way to get your feelings out. And trust me, they're going to hear you anyway. Through God's healing hands and through God's just abilities, He will let them hear what you have to say. And they won't be able to respond or tell you anything back, of course, but that's just the way life is structured. When people are gone, that's part of it. We can't see them or talk to them anymore. And that's very hard to deal with, and I'm so sorry that you have to go through this. But it would be best for you to just kind of get that feeling out by doing that. If you can't eat, I implore you to make yourself eat. Even if it's not as much as you usually eat. Eating is a chore right now probably because of depression. But depression will only get worse if you don't eat. So if you can't sleep, you can try taking melatonin to help you sleep. If that doesn't work, try taking a sleep aid or some kind of Z-Quil. I use the generic brand of pills from Costco, and they work great whenever I can't sleep. So sleeping as well as possible will help decrease that anxiety and depression. Try setting aside your devices and turning them off when it's time to go to sleep. If you still have trouble, try keeping a journal and writing down your feelings and experiences of the day. Sometimes just venting, even if it's on paper, will help. Know that it's okay to cry. You need to get those emotions out. So you can cry, go outside and scream, punch a pillow, go outside and throw stuff around in a way that's safe and doesn't destroy stuff. It's human to have these emotions. You may try working out or running to help ease that too. It helps relieve stress when you do something physical. So talk with other people or see a therapist. Find people that you can vent to and will listen. You'd be surprised how many people are good listeners and can console you and even offer you good advice. So don't be afraid to open up to them. A good therapist will listen and not interrupt you, but rather wait until you get out all your feelings before they give you advice on how to cope with your problems. So don't be afraid to open up to them. They hear people's problems for a living, and they will hear yours, and they will be there for you. They will not judge you. They are there to help. Alcohol and drugs will not take away your pain, so don't overconsume these things. They may give you a temporary relief, but you need to work through your problems with a sober mind. Above all, remember to pray to God. Life is full of surprises and hard times. This is just one of those times. Find a way to get closer to God. Pray daily. Attend church. Watch it on the live stream at home. Join a prayer group. Or find Christian people that can counsel you. God's grace will bring you through the darkest times in your life. Loss of a loved one is sometimes something that sticks with you for a really long time. But you can ease the pain. Eventually you will accept it as the reality and something that you can't change and something that's not your fault. This is a natural part of life that happens to everyone. Just keep pushing along and know that God has plans for you. So pray to Him and work on your healing. Another common dilemma from the pandemic has been the loss of jobs or income. Unemployment and loss of income are perhaps the bigger concern than the disease itself. Some of you may have been able to get on unemployment benefits. Some of you are still employed or self-employed, but may see a decrease in pay or a loss of income. Some examples may include musicians, people who work in the entertainment industry, the bar industry, wedding coordinators, venue owners. They're all hurting a lot right now because people can't gather, and that's kind of what they were dependent on for their income. So, as a guy who didn't lose his job but quit his job during the pandemic, here are some things that you can do if you lose income and need to make it up. So, number one is if you lose your job, consider not getting a new one just yet. I instead decided to create my own business. I was already doing well with my woodworking and carpentry as a side hustle. So I just started to just do it full time. I built decks for mobile homes, well houses for people that have rural water out here, farmhouse style tables, patio covers. Right now I'm building a big storage unit for a guy who's a gate guard out in working for a big ranch south of here. So I've been making a good living at it. I'm not going to complain. I recently spoke with a woman who was a bartender who started her own catering business after she lost her job, and she's much happier owning and operating her own business. Another friend of mine lost his job as a diesel mechanic in the oil field, so he went all across South Texas fixing farm tractors until he found a new job. There's always a risk factor, but if you're motivated and intentional with your money, you can do it. So start something on your own may be an option for you. Another thing you can do is get a side hustle. Let's say you're not making as much money as you need or used to. So consider finding some sort of side hustle that you can do out of your house to bring in some extra income. So you can do things like you do with your normal job. Say you do repairs, welding, preparing food, or mechanic work. You can do it on the side for people, get your own clients. You may have a side hustle different from your main source of income too. You may make scented candles. You may sell desserts during the holiday seasons, mow lawns, make stickers and home decor. There's a million things you can do as a side hustle. Many times people start a side hustle and eventually it becomes their only hustle because they do so well at it. You just have to be intentional with the money you earn. You have to keep some back for expenses and taxes and just stay motivated and you'll get there. So you may have to look for another job and you may have to take a downgrade to keep making ends meet. Or you may have to trade one job for 2 part-time jobs, maybe 3. But you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep food on the table. So if you just up and lose your job or your income, don't be bashful. I don't care if you have to go to Subway and make sandwiches and then get off and go deliver pizzas or something, because both are delicious. So just keep working and somehow, and know that you just because you work somewhere doesn't mean you have to be there forever, and that you don't have to quit looking for a better job. You just have to keep that part to yourself. Don't utter a word to anybody at your workplace about wanting to work somewhere else. People talk too much. and it might get back to the management, and then that causes a dilemma. So, which brings me to another point. You may start out at a job as just the worker bee, but you can always work your way up to the boss bee if you hustle. Stay off the phone, show up on time, and focus on what you're doing and use your head. As other people move out or get run off, you'll have a chance to move up to their job. So just don't fall into thinking that this will always be your job, because if you work on yourself and you push for it, you'll eventually get a job you want and create it. I've had many jobs over the years, from ranching to teaching, and then ranching again, and then playing music and contracting, and every move has been a good one. So you just have to figure out where you want to be in life, and that will change with age too. You may be a hard-working oil field guy knocking down a lot of money, but wearing out your body because you're working so hard and so many hours. Eventually you won't want to work that hard or those many hours anymore. So, I don't know, you may save your money up and, I don't know, open a barbecue joint or get your real estate license. But whatever you want to do in life, be intentional with that money. Save it up. Maybe you'll go to college and get a job doing something else you want to do. But just understand you don't have to stay at the same job all the time. Another thing that many of us have lost during the pandemic has been our lifestyle. I was a working musician before the pandemic. I was playing sometimes as many as 3 and 4 shows a week at one point. Not every week, but let's just say I had a pretty good little side income from it. And when the pandemic shut the bars down, not only did I lose my income, but I lost this lifestyle of playing music for the people. And not to mention my own neighborhood bar closed down for a while, so that kind of didn't help with enjoyment, because I used to like to go there, eat wings and drink beer and hang out with my friends and stuff. And so when that was shut down, it was kind of miserable too. There's all kinds of things that have been interrupted by the pandemic. Social gatherings, dancing, mixed martial arts, church groups, and concerts. They've all been changed because we're not supposed to be gathering or supposed to be close to each other. Schools and colleges are different. Sports are different. We all long to have the lives that we had before. I know I do. I want to go back to playing shows freely and attending concerts and not having to wear a mask, but who knows how long this pandemic will last. Just be patient and pray for the day that this will pass. In the meantime, I'm writing songs and planning on going into the studio to record some new music. That way, when I do get back on the road, I'll have a slew of new content to promote and share with the people. So whatever your hobby, sport, or thing you love is, find a way to work on it. There's a lot of musicians doing live streams and posting stuff on YouTube. They're adapting. So find a way to adapt your lifestyle so that you can still do the thing that you love, or practice it for the day that you can get back out there and do it again. So don't forget to pray for the end of this pandemic. If we all just pray to God, He will hear our prayers and He will heal our land. Do your best every day to keep yourself safe from this virus if you can. Sanitizing is probably one thing I've seen most people get most lazy about. Wash your hands and use sanitizer and keep your distance from people. Wearing a mask is easy, but if you take it off and then touch your face or food or something after touching door knobs and handrails, that's a way to contract it as well. So try washing more often and using hand sanitizer. So these are some things we've talked about during the pandemic. I hope this has been a good talk for you. Hope you find a little motivation in it. If you do, please check out and subscribe to this channel, Angel in a Cowboy Hat. If you want to follow my music adventures, check out my channel, Rockstar Rancher. And may God bless you, heal your heart, and shape you into something wonderful.